I call to order the City of St. Louis Soldiers Memorial Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. It's 3:03 p.m. And my name is Linnea Magnuson and I chair the commission. We'll start following the follow the agenda through the meeting. So the first thing on the agenda is the roll call of Soldiers Memorial Commissioners. So I'll start by going in alphabetical order. First name is Commissioner Barget. Haven't seen her. Second, Commissioner Bradley. It's here. Bradley is here.
I'm actually not a commissioner, but I am here.
Sorry about that. Okay, then Commissioner Dunlap is not going to be here. Commissioner Fletcher is not going to be here. Commissioner Hanses is here. And then Commissioner Yampolsky, I know, is not here, and I'm here, Linnea Magnuson.
Corrine Barget.
Oh, welcome, Corrine. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
So the next thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Corrine, would you want to start us with the pledge?
Sure. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag
of
of
the
the United States
of America,
and to the republic which
which
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you very much. And we do have a quorum, so we can approve or vote to approve the Soldiers Memorial Commission meeting minutes from September 19th of 2024. And I've got them up there. Hopefully everyone can see them okay. I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the September 19th, 2024 meeting. Not yet. Have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the September 19th, 2024 meeting. Oh, not yet.
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, the minutes for the 2020 September 19th, 2024 meeting minutes have been approved. Any all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Okay, so the motion passes. All right. Let me go back to the screen. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is after that very soggy Veterans Day observance, you soldiered through, and Mark, and I really appreciate that. So can you give us an update on what's going on at Soldiers Memorial?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Linnea. It was tough. Lots of planning and preparation, and then you look at the weather, and it was, I don't know if you remember Sunday, but it was a beautiful day on Sunday.
I do remember very well.
Which we missed by about 24 hours.
I know, I thought the same thing.
And I can tell you that I did more media interviews than I've ever done. I was talking to all kinds of radio stations and TV stations, so we definitely got the word out, but attendance definitely suffered, I think, because when people wake up and they see it's raining outside, they make the decision that, no, I'm not going to go stand in the rain. But so we did the parade. I thought it was well done. You know, we made some adjustments. We were able to get a canopy for the general. So he was, you know, he didn't get rained on while returning the salutes. Corrine, as far as the salutes go, we really fell behind, and then by the time I kept remembering it and forgetting it, and then I realized that by the time I remembered it again, it was too late, and I just and so I had written to his executive off his XO and just said, hey, can the general handle this by himself? And so that they were fine with that. But that's why you didn't hear from me. I just basically forgot. Both Molly and I got pretty far behind on the parade this year because we had the opening of the Ghost Army exhibit in September, which really kind of tripped us up a little bit. That all went well, but we got behind on the parade stuff. So
And I had, my grandson was in district meet for cross country, so
Oh, good.
since this past week.
Okay. But then we moved the ceremony indoors. I thought that worked pretty well. You know, that was a kind of a pivot, as they say, from the outdoor plans to the indoor. Had pretty good showing in the assembly hall. And then before, the mayor was there, which was very nice. John Sastry was there. He's the chair of the Missouri National Guard Hall of Fame. Who I thought was a little heavy-handed with his comments on soldiers before the renovations. I thought that was a bit much, but I think he was trying to pay a compliment, but I think he was a little too strong with his language there. But anyway, John is a great guy. I promise you. He's been a good partner and whatnot. And before the parade, we did a VIP breakfast. So we had, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 individuals there. And then, of course, all of you were invited. We invited basically all elected officials, the mayor, and the mayor's cabinet, and anybody basically in a position in the city of St. Louis, also out to the county. We invited all the federal legislators and state legislators in our region, and so we'll keep doing that. We were able to secure a sponsor for that. Midwest Trust contributed $5,000 to help cover the cost of the breakfast, and we're confident that they will stick with us for next year. And $5,000 covers more than the breakfast. It goes a little bit further than just the breakfast, the catered breakfast. So that's nice too. But yeah, it was good. I think we keep refining that, and I think it keeps getting more and more attention. I think one thing that we've tried to do the last 2 years was target some of the celebrities, so to speak, like Fred Bird and Louis and the Anheuser-Busch horses, and the Clydesdales just haven't gotten any traction there yet, but we will. We'll get there. And I think when we start to get some of that stuff, that popular stuff into it, maybe we start to see more folks come out as well. We've added the sign making station there. We did that last year and this year. Like Linnea said, a little soggy this year, but there were a number of kids that were there making signs and then holding them on the roadside. And that's, that it basically enables me to pitch it as a kid-friendly kid event and hopefully help with attendance. So, we talk about that on all those media interviews, but it's behind us now. We look towards Memorial Day really as our next large event. We really kind of center the calendar on those two days. Lots of other stuff happening, but those are the two that we kind of really gear up for. Other events and programs, since we last met, we opened that Ghost Army. We did a exhibit premiere opening, very well attended and well received. And we, of course, opened the exhibit. It's been doing very well for us. Mostly what we've seen are a lot of group tours, and which is fantastic. And this is also, I think, an outcome of one of our volunteers, John Ermold, about a year and a half ago, spearheaded an effort to travel to basically any organization he could think of in the area. So we did, we got addresses and contacts for all the VFWs, the American Legions, the Rotaries, the Kiwanis, all of the independent living and assisted living facilities. And John and Lon and another volunteer, Herschel, basically did a roadshow. Anybody who would listen, they went and told them about Soldiers Memorial. Took about 10 to 15 minutes to do that. Handed out brochures. And as you can guess, a lot of those people had never been here, or it's been decades since they've been here or whatnot. And so, there was an opportunity to talk about the renovations and try to convince them to come back. And I think that effort, I think, is paying dividends in those group tours. And that's because those were the kinds of folks that he was reaching out to. It's really quite remarkable and good work, and it's paying off. So that exhibit's working well. We did the Veterans Day Parade. Upcoming events this Sunday at 2 p.m. Rick Beyer is coming, and Rick is the author of this book, which I just happen to have here. It's an excellent book. It's loaded with the artwork of the members who were in that unit. A lot of those folks were artists who were sketching and doing watercolors on the front lines in France during the war. So the exhibit's loaded with that artwork, and so is this book. And there's operational maps, and there's pictures of the guys. And so he's coming this Sunday. He not only wrote the book, but he also produced and directed the film, which I know a lot of you have seen, if not all of you. So he's just a nice guy. So he's coming. He was here before we opened the exhibit and spent time with the staff and volunteers as we were trying to, basically bring this exhibit in and make sure we knew, had a better grasp on the content. So he kind of was our teacher and got us up to speed. Then, so that's this Sunday. Then in a couple weeks on Sunday, December 8th at 2 p.m., we're doing our first annual Wendell Pruitt Celebration of African American Service. So this really it harkens back to December 12th, 1944, which the city of St. Louis had declared as Wendell Pruitt Day. Pruitt was a Tuskegee Airman, a fighter ace, incredible history record, and of course the namesake of the infamous Pruitt-Igoe living homes. And so we're kicking this is one of these annual events that we'll be doing, and so our first one will be this December 8th at 2 p.m. It'll be catered with some heavy hors d'oeuvres. It's free, of course. We do need registration just so we have a head count, but it should be a good day. We have a professor, Dr. Matthew Delmont, coming. He recently published an award-winning book on called Half American: The Experiences of African Americans During World War II, kind of looking at what they were facing over in Europe as they were fighting, and then what they were dealing with back here at home as well. So should be a good event, and I love that it harkens back to that original Wendell Pruitt Day that the city had declared in 1944. We'll do it each year around that time. And then the next event and kind of the final event for the year is December 14th. That's Saturday. We're going to do an Army-Navy football game screening here, which we haven't done before. There's a lot of competition for this. There's a lot of places that show this game. I think I've been to the Max a couple of times, but also, Legion posts, VFWs all across the city and county do this, at their own posts. They'll have their own watch parties. There's one down at Ballpark Village. So I'm a little apprehensive. I hope we get a good turnout. We have a few registered already, about 8. Again, this is free. We'll have pizza. There'll be a cash bar. We'll have the game showing in the assembly hall and in the probably on both ends if there's enough people for it. And we're going to have a little raffle. We bought some of the little helmets of each of the branches. So we'll raffle those off and hopefully have a little, turn it into a little fundraiser. But again, another first time event that will, hopefully it gets traction and we'll do it annually. And then we can continue to kind of improve these events and grow them. That's all I got for events and programs. For exhibits. Ghost Army closes on January 12th. So please, if you haven't seen it yet, or especially if you have family coming in for the holidays, try to pop down and check that out. It really is a fascinating story. Down at the MAC, we have A Soldier's Best Friend. This is kind of a lighthearted banner exhibition of photos from both the Soldiers Memorial Collection and the Missouri Historical Society collection of soldiers with their dogs. So there's some funny pictures. It's just a lighthearted thing, but that's up at the MAC. And of course we brand it with all the Soldiers Memorial stuff. So we try to make it interesting for the visitors, but then also try to get the word out about Soldiers Memorial. And Judith has been wonderful in making sure we have that slot every year for the last at least 6 years. So we'll keep that going. The other one, we have a show out at the MAC West right now too. That comes down tomorrow. The one downtown got extended an extra month, so it goes all the way through the end of December, which is pretty great. That's 3 months in a very public and visible location that we otherwise wouldn't have. So that's pretty awesome. And then our next exhibit that we'll have here is called 2 Minutes to Midnight and the Architecture of Armageddon. It's kind of an interesting exhibit. It's basically a photographic exhibit of structures and locations that that were critical during the Cold War, whether they were kind of defensive like fallout shelters, or more offensive like some of the missile systems and missile locations and whatnot. It comes to us from Exhibits USA. They're framed fairly large photographs, so they'll fill that lower level. We probably are going to add some artifacts from the Soldiers Memorial Collection into that exhibit in a few cases to kind of augment it and add something other than just the photos. It's pretty rich in programming opportunities. We got a number of ideas. One is, visiting the Weldon Springs Interpretive Center and learning about the uranium production, and of course, all of the fallout from that. We can visit Whiteman Air Force Base. There's a Minuteman site there you can tour. It's a control center, so we're thinking about taking a bus out there. It's a pretty short exhibit. It runs about 6 to 7 weeks, April 6th through May 25th. But it's inexpensive, compared to, so Ghost Army was $50,000 plus shipping to bring that in. This exhibit is like $4,000. So it's much more doable, and it's just another way that we're still kind of in this experimenting phase for what will work well in that lower level for exhibitions. So this is another kind of approach to that. We did the Smithsonian exhibit that was Righting a Wrong. We did our in-house produced Vietnam exhibit. This is very costly, very time consuming. It worked great, got us a lot of attention. And I say us, I mean Soldiers Memorial. They got Soldiers Memorial a lot of attention, and it worked well. But we're also pretty small staff here, and we get help from the folks, of course, up at the History Museum. But a lot of this is we got to figure out how to be pretty efficient and keep things manageable. So we'll try this exhibit out. Hopefully it works, and we'll go from there. As far as the collection, the acquisitions committee just met on Tuesday. I thought there were some really interesting artifacts that came into the collection. There were some Army training manuals from the 20s. These are pretty interesting and really a sign of the technological advancement in warfare at that time and the need for this type of training manual. It's to explain these very complex systems to new soldiers, and so that was a good addition to the collection. Air Force uniform from a sergeant who served in Afghanistan. Really fascinating. And so I dug more into this after our meeting, and he was basically in special ops, and they were flying a U-28 aircraft. The thing that struck me with him is he was a staff sergeant that had combat flying hours, which is pretty rare in the Air Force. The enlisted folks don't do the flying, it's the officers. And so that really struck me, but digging into it, he was on one of these aircraft that were basically working with special ops over in Afghanistan. So really fascinating. And met him through an exhibit, a rental that Molly had worked on, which were also Molly was doing gangbusters with the rentals the last part of the year here. They slow down, it seems, in the winter, but we were doing probably 2 or 3 a month, either like a military retirement or promotion ceremony, but they were really, really ticking along. And we met that donor through that process. And then a Medal of Honor that has been on loan at Soldiers Memorial since the 60s. So we had gotten into contact with that family, and they basically donated it. So it's been here for a long time. In fact, it's on exhibit now, but they turned that loan into a donation. And then a Vietnam War anti-ROTC button from Washington University, which was on display during the Vietnam exhibit as a loan. And then again, another one of these where it was transferred into a donation. The other part of collections, Kate and Robin are really going to be focusing very intently on found in collection objects starting, they've been doing this work all along, but the primary focus will switch to that in 2025. And these are the artifacts that we, either there isn't documentation for any of the artifacts, or we haven't located it yet. And so they'll be working on that and trying to figure some of these artifacts out. So as you can imagine, that's everyone is a little bit of a detective piece to try to figure out some of these artifacts, where they came from, when they came in, and stuff like that. But that's good to get that cleaned up. And then that will also get into resolving some old loans and getting those cleared up as well. So, but that's it for events and programs and exhibits and collections. I would say that I can tell you that this year, I've been here for 6 years now. This was the best year that we've had since I've been here. I think as far as raising awareness, getting attention from the community, getting people involved, having strong attendance at our programs. I haven't seen a better year than this one. And so I kind of feel the momentum is continuing, and I think we're going to keep, that's going to keep happening. We're going to keep having good years. Yeah, this one I can tell you has felt really special. So I will wrap it up there. More than happy to take questions.
Mark, it's Judith. I've been meaning to ask you, does the World War I Memorial in Kansas City have any traveling exhibits that we could get?
They don't. The Ghost Army came from the World War II Museum in New Orleans. Right. And, that's kind of one of the little bit of the pickles that we're in. There's very few, there's a few, companies or museums that do traveling exhibits. very few that would really kind of meet our mission or our focus. The World War II is kind of getting into this business. So Ghost Army was their first. They have a couple more that they're planning, and hopefully they get that together, because I'm almost certain we would work with them again to bring another one in. And then when we look at like the Smithsonian, they do a lot of traveling exhibits, but again, very few of them would be kind of fit the mission here, and they're just would be too far off topic really to bring in for essentially a military history museum.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're always looking for new ones. This summer we're bringing in an exhibit called about the Tuskegee Airmen, which was done by basically a historian and a kind of a passionate person who put this together. It was right now it was on display at Kokomo, Indiana. I can't remember the name of the air base. It's Griffiths. It was on display at Griffiths Air Base, and it's going to come here this summer, June to October. We'll have that, which I think will be really well received. There's a couple of organizations in the area called the Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated. They basically work with kids and try to get them into flying programs, teach them how to fly and whatnot. And so we'll work with them over the next few months to kind of build out a local component for that exhibit. So there's, the St. Louisans who served in that unit will be recognized, and so that'll be good. I think that'll be a big draw for us. It's not. It'll be a nice exhibit. It probably won't be at the kind of the quality, I guess, that we've seen with some of the other things that we've done here. But it will be good. It will be solid. But it more, I think, about relationship building and getting deeper into the community. I think it'll have really be effective for that. Oh, I should add on to that. I don't know, Linnea and Rich, you might be aware of this, but that same group, so they put forth, I don't know if legislation is the right word, but they put forth a request to rename to memorial, that's not a good word, to ceremonially, I guess, name that section of Chestnut Street between 13th and 14th for the Tuskegee Airmen. So Tuskegee Airmen Way. So that went to the Board of Aldermen, and they voted on it a couple of weeks ago, and it passed. And now I think it goes to the mayor's desk, and I don't know if she signed it yet or not, but it's it's not like they're not really renaming Chestnut Street. It's still Chestnut Street, but they add on this ceremonial name, I guess.
So what'll happen with that is, I do not foresee her not signing that if she hasn't. So the Chestnut Street sign will remain, and then it will get a red street sign with white lettering in addition to that to show the ceremonial name of the street. So it will be very notable once it's up there.
Yeah, fantastic. That'll be good. They had approached me, and I was like, well, I don't. I said, I don't control the names of the streets. I said, I don't have that authority. So I told them you have to work with the city to figure that out, how you do that. So he did it. His name is Carl Smith, and he's a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel, and he likes to get things done, and he got it done. So pretty cool. But yeah, so that's a little bit of additional news there.
That
Well,
sounds-
we're always looking, Judith. So if you ever see or hear of a traveling exhibit that looks good, just let me know. That's how this Tuskegee Airman came to us. It was from this guy, Carl. He saw it over in Indiana, and he wrote to me and he said, this would be great for you guys. And so I looked into it, and I said, yeah, I think it could work.
Yeah, I know some of those people who were instrumental in developing that in Kansas City. So let me see if I can find one of them and plant the seed of an idea.
Yeah, a lot of
That-
museums like think they would like to do it, but it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot for a museum to take on that program to do traveling exhibits. In fact, the World War II Museum is basically contracting it out to a different company. Um, and so World War II will produce the content, but then this other company is going to be doing the kind of the handling of all the logistics and the coordination
Oh,
uh,
yeah,
and all that, which is a lot for a museum because it's usually we're all pretty tightly staffed. There's just not the hours in the day to do
right.
something like that. But, yeah.
It sounds great, Mark. All of it does. So,
Thanks, Lynette.
any other questions for Mark? No? Okay. Okay, I'll move on to the next item of business, which is call for questions, new business or announcements. Any of those from anybody? Oh,
Just wanted to say to Mark, congratulations on the success of your efforts this year to get the parade out there in front of people. And why we were blessed with rain, who knows, but there's always next year.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
the spade work that you did in big time this year has got to pay off for next year. It just has to. You got out there way too much for people to forget.
Excellent.
anything else from anybody? Okay, I guess we'll go on to the last item, which is call for adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning the November 21st, 2024 Soldiers Memorial Commission meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, okay. Motion passes and the meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.